warming up here, of course. Our army obviously battered by repeated battles, and early on we just don't have a lot of medicine skill. We're going to do a little recruiting of some troops here and a little bit of forced recruitment here. In fact, let's go ahead and fight this. We would lose a huge amount of troops here using the auto resolve, and this is how I like to start my day, right? Massacring villagers and ordering them to give us their sons to help fight in our new army here. In fact, let's break these here. Let's go ahead and do a couple perks, start this here. We'll do a little bit of tactics, and then we will say welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. You are watching our Vlandian campaign. You are watching the sons of Baron York, right? Ryland and Henry continue their expedition here into the west. We're actually near Vlandian territory. It's been rather Twilight Zone-ish. You know, we're very possibly going to be seeing Baron York in this episode or one of the episodes to follow. Now, we're going to do a little bit of tactics here, even though we're just fighting villagers, and that is because they have almost as many troops as us, right? This is one of those situations you auto-resolve, and you suffer 50% casualties, maybe more. We already have a badly battered army, so here's what we're going to do. We're setting up basically they're oblique order lines of archers essentially to this building. The best way to think of it is the pool angles. We're trying to essentially force that enemy around the edges of these buildings, at which point they will run into our infantry. What that does is it greatly reduces their archer ability to assist in the battle, right? Villagers have little militia archers that help them, and what we're going to do here is suck them in, pull them close to our units, and then zerg them with infantry while we flank with horse archers. We've got this horse archer army, of course, because Ryland started in Khazate territory. So we've got quite a mix. It's basically an imperial mixed army with some horse archers and then a handful of bandits and odds and ends. All right, so they're coming around that left side there. You see it's mostly archers. I imagine the infantry then is coming the other side, so we will take horse archers behind their infantry and just park them there, right? That way we can just shoot them in the back, just like me. Our archers are spraying both sides. They've got nice distance. You can see them there on the left. Now the infantry all gets told to charge. 1st, 3rd, 6th Division, and you can see what we have. We've got guys with pitchforks because, again, we continue to upgrade this army. Now, look at the death span, right? We don't have any medicine skills. This is normal player damage, Bannerlord difficulty, and we are scorching them because they can't shoot. See all these archers here that can't shoot? Let's make life worse on them, right? Besides removing a few heads, now let's bring in our horse archers here to interrupt them. We'll cause some distress while the rest of the troops charge, and they just started to rout, right? They realize that they're up against not an average raiding party, right? And they're getting slaughtered. I don't want to die. You can hear them yelling, and they should have yelled that about a minute ago, right? Before they got ambushed there in that situation. It's one of the advantages you have, of course. Villagers, for some reason, when you raid their village, they have to come to you. It seems like it should be the other way around. These are the game mechanics, though, and of course part of these episodes are to give you guys tools for your tool bag, right? At this stage, I want your tool bag to be like mine when it comes to tactics, where you feel like you're literally dragging it on the ground and there's a huge amount of tools. I don't mean that it's a burden to you. What I mean is that you have so many different tactical tools for Bannerlord or other games that you picture this giant bag that you're hauling around as you rip apart Calradia. Now, again, it's just a very minor battle, but we got a huge amount of upgrades. We get 35 troops as their poor wives come out and say, here's my sons, take them to battle. And obviously that's going to help us immensely. Now, Monchug is here. This is so strange. And again, I don't have any control over this, right? It's not like I have the ability to order troops around the battlefield. We are a mercenary for the Khazate. For some reason, they decided to declare war on Vlandia, even though there's no Vlandian units nearby us. And I think it's because Vlandia is rampaging in this map. Of course, I'm still looking for Baron York, and I don't see him. Of course, we were on the other side of that, right? We helped Vlandia to a large share of the pie. And, oh shit, every single army is potentially dangerous here when you're as beat up and as recruit heavy as we are. In fact, discretion is the better part of valor here. We will avoid combat and try to heal up a little bit more. See if we get chased down. Oh, we got some friends. Let's kill this guy with our friend. And part of the reason I'm running is these enemy troops are stacked. Again, we have the StrengthenAI. Oh shit, he's attacking looters instead. Come attack this guy. Let's see if we can get him to help us. And look at that shit. That is incredible. It's 80 shock troops, 41 Fiend champs, veteran Aserai infantry. I mean, it's basically a completely tier 5 and 6 army. And of course, the Khazate guy's like, oh shit, it's all tier 5 and 6. He's running. You know what we're going to do? We're going to let him soften those guys up, and then we will participate. I could join. Monchug is right there. So we could join right now, but I want him basically to soften him up a little bit more. That way we can join. We don't need to suffer 60-70% casualties. And you saw, right? It's like 40 fucking Fiend champs. I mean, these armies are amazing. Thank you, StrengthenAI mod. And what we essentially have is like a strange challenge game at this stage. I didn't intend this, but we've got our amateur army here with recruits and low-level, what are they called? Nobles, sons, Khazate units like that, right? Level 1 archers, level 2, tier 2 archers. And the enemy has all tier 5 and 6. It's pretty interesting, this little side series in this campaign. You know, it's certainly not going to be boring, right? These are going to be interesting battles. However, I'm also going to use a fair bit of discretion. One of the advantages, a huge advantage you have as a horse archer army, is your army is usually pretty fast. You can outrun most enemies. Now, they have like a whole division of veteran Falksmen, the tier 5 Battanian unit. It's a very eclectic, strange Battanian army here, even though they're not Battania. Part of the reason that happens, of course, is Vlandia has conquered much of Battania's territory, right? So these nobles are going to Vlandian cities that are all Battanian culture. So those are not our horse archers. We're using our ally here. We'll let them kind of lead the way, right? When in the Saving Private Ryan situation on Normandy Beach, and you're a practical person and none too brave, you let those brave guys with all the testosterone go over the fucking wall first. We'll go over second, maybe third. If they got hot wives, you know, we will comfort them afterwards. Of course, you guys are probably like, what a despicable fuck. No, of course, right? If you were in a World War II situation, you would hope you would be at the front. But for Bannerlord, right, we're going to use our head here. There's no relation damage at all by letting our ally be destroyed here. In fact, we got a kite. These infantry are pouring in at us here. Let's get these archers back. These guys are going to get completely slaughtered by veteran Falksmen. It'll be like one-shot city for our little recruit army. But, okay, perfect. They just started peeling off to attack our ally. Our ally's suiciding some troops in here, and that is a ferocious force. Right? It's not just veteran Falksmen. They have fucking Aserai veteran infantry, which is one of the best infantrymen in the game, and you can see our army, right? There's a whole lot of guys wearing pajamas with no shoes. I mean, it is a raggedy crew. There's a handful of strong infantry in there to sort of buttress the division, but we also, it's not like we have an uber commander here. Ryland is, you know, he's been on the battlefield for 3 hours. They got Fiend champs and shit. In fact, they have a whole line of Fiend champs towards the back. So every single one of these battles where it seems like, oh, we're outnumbered, you know, you're Xing out because it's boring. Each one of these could be a death match and we get smoked. And you see the death spam. There's just an immolation of our troops. I think that's the ally. I'm kind of crossing my fingers. Either that or I did a really bad job with command in this battle. Now, trying to harass their Fiend champs here, this is bad. They're running towards our lightly armored units. If they start opening fire on our archers, it's just going to look like fucking D-Day. And we're not the Germans, right? It's going to be smoked city here. In fact, every one of those guys can probably one-shot me. That was one arrow, and it took like half my health. Discretion is a better part of valor here. We will use our troops. But it does look like we wiped out most of that infantry. I can help our guys here with the stubborn ones. Oh shit, and just there you have it, insta-kill, right? Player agent is dead. I hope that doesn't mean literally dead. We've got this little tracker. I'm in charge of our little dipshit tracker with the terrible Russian winter hat. Can't kill anybody. He's feeble, 27 damage. But we've got a nice little steamroller here of recruits. And we've got some horse archers strafing them. That guy got owned. Now we're shooting our own troops. But this is Henry. Henry's actually got some good combat skills. He's a two-handed fella with a bow. We're killing all our own units here, but this battle is over. We whipped the bastards, right? And look at this motley crew. Fortunately, we had numbers there and an ally willing to plow himself in crash test dummy-like. for us to have success. That might have been a battle if we fought on our own, that we don't just lose, we get annihilated, right? Like a bad loss. That's the kind of thing that's going to happen in this campaign with this StrengthenAI mod. You can see their prisoners. That's basically a summary of their troops. Every single unit is tier 5. And I'm going to leave these settings as is. If anybody's wondering, well, why are you going to face all tier 5 armies? They won't be. And I'll explain that here as we do a little bit of quick upgrades. And we're going to follow Manchug here. We're going to hide. However, we're going to take this. This is a really nice polearm. Now, Ryland's going to use his father's sword, but is this guy? He's got a fine hoe. I'm sure he's going to be distressed if we separate him from his fine hoe. But his killing capacity, so he does have polearm skill. We will give him this Rumpai, and that'll give him a little bit more killing capacity, even though you hardly want that guy fighting in melee. Now, he's actually a crossbow spec, but I can't afford a crossbow, right? I mean, I guess now we can, but I haven't been able to find one, so he's just kind of dipshitting around with archery. But we are getting some nice upgrades from this equipment here. Now, I wanted to talk about the unit strength of the enemy real quick. I mentioned that. Oftentimes I interrupt myself and don't ever remember the story. In fact, from the last episode, I want to tell you guys just a really funny interlude about my experience with a credit card company. Basically my way of telling the man to eat a dick. In the meanwhile, though, I want to finish that point about enemy units. Don't think that every single enemy army is going to be all tier 5. The reason these Vlandians, every army so far has been pretty much all tier 5 and 6, is because they've been rolling over the map. Behind Baron York, of course, when we were in charge, right? When we were controlling Baron York. Yeah, see this stupid asshole. Only Vlandia. Fight somebody locally. It's so strange. We're on the other side of the map. And eventually this is going to go bad, right? They're close to their reinforcements. We're not. That's not going to go well. Again, interrupt myself. So the Vlandians, because they've been winning, their units are getting more EXP, and more importantly, they're not dying, right? If your units... Well, obviously, you guys know if you play Bannerlord, if your army doesn't die after a while, it becomes a juggernaut because your units upgrade, they get stronger. You beat harder foes, they get stronger. Your units upgrade again, they get stronger. You beat even harder foes. It's basically a summary of the English power between 1700 and 1880. Right? They won battle after battle, the Battle of Blenheim. You get more powerful. You get an incredible peace treaty. You get the Rock of Gibraltar. Here, we're getting run down, so we're going to have to fight. So anyway, so don't think that every enemy force is going to be tier 5. However, oh shit, how funny. I thought he was chasing me and he's chasing these villagers. He's so locked into his villagers. He ignored the true prize here. I think he might be able to take us out, but I don't know. He's not engaging us. Maybe that means that the AI is not real sure it can take us out here. Now we've got Aserai forces as well. It's kind of a hectic situation, and I think the Vlandians are at war with the Aserai as well. So we've got a bit of a threesome here, a violent threesome. This is like violent threesome for you BDSM folks. You like to get whipped by 2 women. That's kind of what's going on here, right? Although I guess I just called the Khazate and the Aserai women. Until I'm caffeinated, we're just flinging. We're basically, you know, my commentary style is just to talk. And whatever comes to my mind, I say, right? As long as it's not overly offensive. Every once in a while, I'm like, no, don't say that shit. That's bad. Most of the time, I just kind of talk. So, this is another guy that, you know what we're going to do here? We're just going to hide. I don't think he can attack us. Fuck off. Let's see here. I don't think he can run through here. There we go. I can kind of use Manchug's army here. Like the little yapping dog uses their owner, right? When they bark at a big dog and the big dog runs up on them and the little yapping dog runs behind their owner and Yap continues to try to, I'm tough, rah, 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 rah. You know, we're going to do that here because you can see our army. We've got lots of recruits and these other armies are stacked. Oh shit. There's the king. The king, kill the king. Now look, he's chasing the Aserai and the Aserai are chasing looters. So you really got a bizarre situation here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Vlandians are at war with 3 different kingdoms, including these Aserais. So maybe we can participate here. Get a king's ransom for the king, right? This dipshit Aserai force, right while there's this huge, powerful Vlandian force bearing down on it, attacks looters. Let's see if we can't capture Dirt. you know, I'm aware that some of the fellas, you know, they want instant action, and sometimes we are going to edit this, but this is also probably beneficial for some new players, essentially showing you how to weave in and out of heavy traffic here. This is a little bit like a mother duck and her 12 ducklings trying to pass an 8-lane highway, right? You've got a lot of hazards to navigate in Bannerlord, and this is one of them, right? We are deep in enemy territory here. There are extraordinarily hostile foes marching in and out, chasing after troops. There's looters, and most of them are stronger than us. You got a little bit of carnage over here. Quayaz is now under siege by the Aserai, and every single one of these armies here represents a major threat. Ordinarily, when you outnumber the enemy in this stage of a Bannerlord campaign, they're the one that's running here. But they're chasing us down again because these armies have stacked forces. That, you know, I'm not going to itemize every single enemy force that's in these armies, but every single one of these could be fatal. And I'll remind you fellas that we have the death for all cranked to like 20 times or 50 times the natural death rate. I don't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's just a much higher death rate for units on the battlefield. So every time Ryland goes down here, there's a chance that's it, right? It's sort of simulating more realism. In medieval warfare, it's not like you got shot by 6 arrows and speared off your horse and 99 battles in a row and you were fine, right? These guys got sepsis, they got fucking, you know, all kinds of injuries that were fatal. Now we're fucking pressed up against the wall here. This is bullshit. You don't see this very often. I would love to get over, because frankly, I'm a little bit playing like a coward right now. We've got this raggedy army. I mean, you could see our heroes. Look at them. They're wearing homeless gear on their heads, right? He's got a bag over his head, and the other guy's got one of those Russian hats for the winter, right? It's a rough situation here. Now what we can do is a tactic I like to consider just basically hold and shoot, and it's basically you hold the center and then have forces off to the flank shooting. It's very basic, but that's about all we're able to do here. I mean, I have incredibly ragged infantry divisions. The only way they're going to have any success is massed together. You can see most of them have no armor. They have shirts and recruits with scythes and stuff like that. We're just, you know, we're early on here in this campaign. Even though we have a large army, it's a kind of a strange moment in this Bannerlord campaign. It's not just kind of, it's very much a strange moment. We've got Khazate and Imperial forces wearing bathrobes, and then we've also got Consguards mixed in. It's about the strangest situation I can ever remember, in fact, being in a Bannerlord campaign, and that is partly because it's contrived. Now, I could use that 7th Horse Archer Division as a line of cavalry to slow down the enemy cav charge. The enemy has a lot of cavalry here. That's the main concern I have. So we're concentrating our infantry and cavalry there. That way those guys kind of slow the impact a little bit, even though half of them are recruits. You know, recruit pulls out their little pitchfork. We've all been there. It'll stop your cavalryman in its tracks, right? And then hopefully the guy next to him swings his scythe and at least wounds the cavalrymen. But our real damage here is going to be done from the flanks. We've got 2 archer divisions and a good horse archer division. We even have Consguards, right? These guys have been upgrading. It's helped that these guys have been picking on villagers. Now we get to face a real foe here, right? 50 infantry in the middle with archers behind them. They're kind of circling us with horse archers there, but my main concern is their 50 cavalry. It's going to be vanguard and all kinds of nasty troops. In fact, on some level, I want to bait them with horse archers. I would much rather that they feebly chased our horse archers here than just completely exploded on the center of our ranks. They're going to cause major fatalities. You know, you guys hear me on the channel all the time talk about how weak cavalry is, and it is. It's very weak, right? Heavy cavalry in Bannerlord is just not good. They're not as good as they should be, but they will destroy horse archers and unarmored peasants like that, right? Those guys with almost no armor are going to get shredded by tough cavalry. Here I'm also sending a horse archer division kind of too late to help kind of get in here and hopefully intercept them a little bit. That didn't work very well. And they have tough infantry coming in. This is nasty. Of course, even their archers are just fiend champs. You can just basically, for a little while, you can expect every Vlandian force to be all tier 5 and 6. No units that are not tier 5 and 6. It's kind of amazing. The good thing is that there'll be some prisoners and recruits for us, right? We'll be able to... Holy shit, half my health is gone. Let's flip to melee here. I'm almost dead. You know, we're going to be able to take some Fiend Champs prisoners. And unlike the Baron York portion of this campaign, Ryland will take any prisoner. I will explain that more later as Ryland gets dropped again. Hopefully he doesn't die each time. You just kind of hope. But Ryland here is taking the opposite, right? Take no prisoners. Ryland's taking all prisoners. In fact, I'm looking at those skirmishers, those veteran Battanian skirmishers, and I'm excited because the Khazate have no skirmishers. We are planning on, not the royal we are planning on staying in Khazate territory a lot of this campaign, a lot of this side campaign. Oh shit, they're fleeing. Kill them. And because of that, we want some skirmishers. Khazate have absolutely no skirmishers, so we'll take a half dozen skirmishers or a dozen skirmishers home. Right? That battle is actually a lot easier than I thought. I was really worried about it. Obviously, the AI engaged us there, and our little tactic was pretty savage. Right? Just hold and shoot, hold their center, and scorch them from the side. Worked very, very well there. And you know that's what's fun about these little. Smaller early game battles is I can give you guys some tactics that work when you have 180, 160 troops. You know, when I first started doing tactics and guys would be like, can you do tactics with 50 troops? And I was like, no, you can't. You know, and I said it with too much authority because the reality is you can. It's just not very effective, and you've got to have a plan and be quick with your tactics. You know, there's no time for mistakes when you have 80 troops because if you don't kite with your 20 archers, when you have 80 troops, they're insta-killed. A regular division of archers of 100 archers might be able to survive if you're a little bit late with your tactics when you have an army of 700. But when you have 100, every single decision and mouse click is critical, right? Otherwise you lose, right? You just get torn apart. In that battle 2 battles ago where they had a huge amount of veteran falksmen, had we not kited almost instantly when I told those guys to kite, we probably get destroyed. Those archers get completely torn apart. You can picture them. They're all trying to run, and the more athletic veteran falksmen would just be cutting them down. All right, well, we're going to follow Manchug and see what happens here in this side campaign. There should be action, right? I don't know if we're going to get in any huge battles, but we shall see, right? There's Vlandian forces here. The Aserai are fighting the Vlandians. The Southern Empire is fighting the Vlandians. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what kind of a battle we can participate in here. Obviously, we've got to be cautious. All right, a little break. Let's follow Manchug here north. Okay, no, he's going to Hertogia Castle here. So we're going to follow these Khazate forces at least for a few minutes here, looking for almost like, you know, those feeder fish that hang around sharks, looking for targets of opportunity, but also using them as both safety and bait, you know, for probably a larger battle here. Now, the deeper we get into Vlandian territory, the more likely that becomes. In fact, this is one of the weaknesses of the AI. They don't have any prudence, right? They will start to wade into enemy territory, and if they have some success, they will just basically put their dick all the way out there until it gets slammed. Now here, they're about to take this castle down. I don't think any Vlandian forces are going to arrive. But again, one of the things that I belabor all the time on the channel is there's a huge disadvantage for the AI compared to players. And the reinforcement, oh, you know what? Fuck, I have not mentioned that this whole time. The reinforcement mod is not active. Oh, shit. There is the queen. The queen, right? There is Ragea herself leading a gigantic army of Southern Empire forces. They are also at war with the Vlandians here. So half the map is at war with Vlandia, just like when we were in the Vlandian campaign. And the queen rides again, right? She's an old gal at this stage. She's got to be in her mid-60s. But she obviously still has charisma, leading a gigantic force here. So we've got some carnage going on here. I wanted to say that real quick, though. The reinforcement mod, you guys can probably figure it out as quickly as I did. I actually tried against bandits and stuff like that. You can't win, especially with the mod we have turned on. So the bandits are not only everywhere, but they're stronger than normal. If you get reinforcements, you just get poured in on by looters and forest bandits, and battles that are difficult become completely impossible. Now we've got like a posse here. I feel like one of those small ships surrounded by like the U.S. Navy with aircraft carriers all around me and submarines and fucking frigates and shit like that. Sort of the British equivalent from the 1800s. Ragea is sieging here at Lagetta, and we are it's just carnage here, right? All these Khazate forces are pushing Vlandian forces, but the Vlandian forces are starting to pour in. I mentioned that before. The deeper into enemy territory you get here, the more likely you are to get into trouble. I'm actually going to join this battle so I don't get destroyed. We'll just auto-resolve this quickly.
Let's proceed.
Take some prisoners, definitely taking some sharpshooters. On that side of thing, right, we're not going to sit in Battanian territory and recruit 200 Fiend champs, right? There are certain ways to play the game that are easier, or more efficient, I guess more intelligent, but we're not going to exploit it. Almost everybody knows that if you get 150 Fiend champs and you know how to use them, you know, you just become an absolute beast in Bannerlord. Now here, my firefighter instincts are popping up here. They have a lot of heavy cavalry. This force here is toast without us. Let's do a little role playing here that we're gonna ride in to save these camel boys, the Gilman, do a little battle here. I am aware, right, that there's definitely a TLDR crowd, part of the viewers that want to see more action. At the same time, I'm trying not to force things where it's like a certain loss. So we'll try to have battle. And usually afterwards, I'm able to go in and edit out some of the stuff that's a little slower. This has been sort of fast and furious, and with the Khazate, heading west, there's definitely likely more battle coming soon. You're not going to have to wait long for battle. It was a pain in the ass to run all the way to the west here to join the Khazate in this little cross-Calradic war here against the Vlandians. Our allies taking the center. It's perfect. We're going to be able to flank the shit out of the enemy, let the AI, allied AI, crash test dummy for us here. But it's been worth it for us, right, to follow at this stage of the Khazate. Our army's gotten very powerful. Ryland, of course. All of these things are cumulative. We're gaining obscene equipment, right? I haven't even really looked at it. I've just been putting on, this glaive here and that a nice piece of armor there. And we're going to be rich after this little foray here. This is going to be like a month's worth of action. And we're literally going to go from being, careful with our money and poverty and trying to buy a few horses to, oh, never mind. We have all the money we possibly could need. That is one of the huge advantages for you fellas that are watching this, that maybe it's, one of your first times you've watched an episode on Tactical Enlightenment. Tactics suddenly make the game, from a money perspective, very easy, right? Because you're going to start destroying forces that you would normally not be able to defeat. It makes the whole game easier, right? And of course, that's why we have to increase the difficulty here. There are some guys who literally post, and they have a sequence of posts, and it goes like this. Hey man, I really appreciate it, dude. We dominated a 6-1 siege last night, and then I crushed them in the open field. Thanks, man. Your tactics work amazing. I appreciate it. And then a month later, they're like, God damn it, the game is too easy. What do I do? And I have to help them again by directing them to one of these mods. That's the thing, right? It's just part of life. The bottom line is that once you get good at tactics, man, I need a longer sword or a polearm or something. Once you get good at tactics in Bannerlord, you really do become a bit of Napoleon in Calradia, right? You just trounce everything. The enemy, if we're role-playing here, they're terrified of you, right? When they see Baron York or Wazuban or any of these other leaders from these other campaigns roll up, they feel, just absolutely like somebody facing the Prussians in 1760 with Frederick the Great. Doesn't matter if you outnumber him, you're going to lose, right? He's going to do something savage and defeat your force. I can't apologize for that, of course, because the channel purpose is to help you guys get better at Bannerlord, and it does take a long time. Most people will not just watch a couple episodes and be destroying everything in sight, but eventually you will get to the stage where you need these mods, which is part of the reason we're highlighting them and I'm showing you the settings I prefer, so that you can face these Titanic battles. There is a higher degree of satisfaction in that, of course, because you're doing things that are very difficult, and if you succeed at doing something that's difficult in life, no matter what it is, right, then it's a really good feeling. I think I just heard the AI route. Yep, there they go. They're out of here. So I'm not going to probably every single battle talk about the tactics. That was, again, very much a hold and shoot situation where we've got a strong center, and especially with like 50 or plus horse archers, it's amazingly effective. Draw the enemy into your center, hold them there with infantry, cavalry. You can square once they get higher level, and then just completely thwack them with ranged units from the side. The reason it's so effective with horse archers is because if they attack your archers, you've got, oh man, you've got a mobile archer unit. Well, this is what I was referring to a second ago. Look at their prisoners. These must be, well, I don't know who, Aserai or Vlandian, whatever they are. It's an amalgamation. All these prisoners here just made our army a juggernaut. I mean, this is incredible. This is like the mother lode, and they're mostly tier 4 and 5. We'll take these highwaymen. In fact, see you later, recruits. You guys are dis-recruited, de-recruited. You guys are, you're discharged from Ryland's military service here. We now have a stacked army. So maybe we can participate in a big battle in this campaign, right? Look at these upgrades. I mean, we just got a bunch of cons guards, and there's no mods that is affecting our army progress. But I will say this, because the enemy is stronger, obviously we're gaining EXP faster. So it's basically like going to the weight room. If you lift really heavy weights and you don't get injured, you're going to get more gains than if you just go in there and kind of putt around, right? If you go in there, nope, that's where no pain, no gain, right? And of course, you don't want to we could talk about physical fitness at some point. Some of you guys are maybe just getting into it, and I have 30 years of experience. But the idea, of course, is the harder you push, the more ambition you have to improve. Obviously, the bigger your gains are, when you heal up, right? Muscle tissue muscle is basically just scar tissue. You on a very small level, you sort of tear your muscles when you weightlift, and those tears on some level remain with you your whole life. And I'm sure there's some biologist fellow saying you're fucking stupid, you're wrong. That's not exactly. I know that's an oversimplification of it, but that's effectively what weightlifting is, right? You're straining your body to a reasonable level, and then your body reacts to it and gets stronger, bigger. All right, anyways, I digress. Manchug here just died, right? And this is what I'm talking about. I will bet you guys 100 dinars, right? We'll bet some dinars. 1 Bitcoin, how about that, right? 106 grand each. I'll bet you $106,000 that Manchug is dead. I looked at the date. 12. I bet he's dead by autumn 16. You just can't do this, right? And this is again the AI. Here they come. There's one. There's a big army. Here they all come to little armies. There's another huge army, and I was actually wrong. I guess maybe you guys would win the bet because it's going to happen sooner than I said. Although I think I said by August 16th. I'm saying August 16th. What I mean is autumn 16. You can't do this, right? And the AI does this consistently. It'll just wade deep into enemy territory with a single army, and the whole fucking Vlandian realm responded here. Yeah, we're not joining that, right? That's a suicide mission. And we have all this loot. I am going to have a level of prudence in this campaign. We're going to fight with our, we're going to play like our hair is on fire. I've been using that analogy a lot. We're going to take some risks, but not that. That's certain death. I won't say I predicted it, but I did predict it, right? It's just one of the faults of the AI is they don't have any prudence. You would not do that as a human player, just wade deep into enemy territory, and they didn't even make it to the 14th. They got captured, right? Manchug and his proud little army there. So the Vlandians continue to roll on, right? We will continue to look for combat here prudently, not suicidally like that fucking shit. Is obviously the nature of it. Anytime, you're looking, you get paid when you kill people, right? We literally get influence, we get paid by the influence, and so we're beholden to the almighty Manchug Khan here. What he says, kill, name your enemies, and I will slay it, Manchug. Now, I'm going to upgrade some equipment here at Poros. I think we'll talk about, I need to get this guy a better helmet. Let's update you on the diplomatic situation and also what's going on here. I don't know how much of that last half hour I'll include. So in case this is a new episode, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related and dedicated to this Vlandian campaign. If you are confused, you need to watch the last 3 episodes. This is quite literally a side campaign within the campaign. These worlds are ongoing, so to speak. So we're with Ryland here, and he's the weak spot in this army, right? We have an incredibly powerful army. We've acquired a lot of these troops via prisoners. Some of them were just lucky finds, right? And we've been fortunate enough to avoid being captured for quite some time here. Now, it's not perfectly elite. We got some bushwhackers and some low-level troops at the bottom, freebooters, but we're starting to really upgrade this army, and we're to the stage now where we're readily attacking other lords, right? We just have to have the speed, but Ryland is now the weak spot, right? This guy is coming of age, 21 years old. In fact, he just started to drink ale. It's illegal, fellas. You can't drink ale till you're 21, right? You didn't know that. So we're going to get him some updated equipment here at Poros. Of course, maybe I failed to mention, we're at war with the Northern Empire. All of a sudden, Manchug gives us peace with the Vlandians, so we ran all the way to the west. Now we got to run east. Now, I still want to continue to buy cavalry, and I'm not that concerned about money right now. In fact, we're going to splurge here, right? We're running over to the medieval Louis Vuitton here. We're going to put on some different helmets, and you guys on some level can help me choose. I hate those first two. Let's see if we can find a helmet we like here. The paper bag over his head is not working anymore. That doesn't look bad. We need some armor for him too. We weren't going to go the whole campaign wearing a 3 hit point or a 3 armor point helmet. I think that looks pretty good, right? What do you think of that drip there, fellas? That's not something I normally do, but there's a little drip action for all you style/fashion fellas out there. Now, in order to pay for this, we're going to sell some of this elite loot. I like to do this. I like to leave the high-end loot, especially for episodes. That way, I don't have to spend 5 minutes sifting through all the rubble here of these battles. We can just sell our absolutely nicest stuff, and it takes like 10 seconds, and we should be paying pretty minimally for this helmet. In fact, we're making money now. We had so much loot. Look at that shit. We actually got paid to take their helmet, right? We dumped a bunch of Goodwill shit and bent fucking hose and stuff like that all over the ground, used up hose, and on we go here. Now, I want to go to Lycaron. We've got a couple different things I want to accomplish still in this episode. At some point or other, we're going to look for Manchug Khan because we want to pledge allegiance, but we're also looking for wives, right? Ryland, Henry, these guys are 20 years old, right? Their hormones are going berserk. They need to get laid, otherwise they're going to start killing their own troops. Now, we've got a force here sieging. I always like to check out this kind of a situation because it's amazing how often they get attacked. And if you're nearby, right, you can participate. You can maybe even save them. Kind of depends on the situation. We got some bandits to attack here. I continue to pile up bandits. Physion is under siege, so we can respond there as well. But sometimes I like to hang around a castle like this for a day or two just in case that happens, right? Took the words right out of my mouth. Here comes a perfect opportunity for us to have Ryland's first big battle, a battle where he's involved with hundreds of other troops. And we finally have the army that can make an impact, right? We haven't had an army that would really matter in a big battle yet, but we do now, right? We've got a pretty damn elite core of units. We've got quite a few ranged units. We have horse archers, right? We've got some Khans guards. It is a quasi kingdom army. We will have more Khazate units eventually. If you can't tell the storyline, Ryland is sort of falling in love with the Khazate culture here. He's even got one of those little Fu Manchu mustaches. I didn't do that. The game just randomly did that. And if this guy engages, which he probably will, we're going to help out here. And take a look at this guy's army. He's probably got a juggernaut army. The Northern Empire has been rampaging in this campaign. I'm not going to show you guys too much of the map. We're keeping that fog of war here, but they've been winning, so I bet he's got a stacked army. Let's see what he's got here. Oh my God, that's not even stacked. That's obscene. He's got 300 elite cataphracts, almost 200 legionary, 74 elite Manabliton. Look at the bottom. He's got 75 Vanguard Ferris. I'm not going to enumerate it all. He's basically got a sick army. Now, so does this Khazate force, right? Both of these armies have elite troops, so this is no ragtag regular Bannerlord army here, right? Make sure we've got nice visibility for you guys. This is elite troops here, and we're coming in. We probably have the weakest army on the field here, right? We've still got bushmen and shit like that in our... I guess there's no bushmen. What do they call it? Bushwhacker? It looks like there'll be enough light to fight with that setting. In we go here, and we may not get that many troops, right? Because our troops are just not that good, right? They have incredibly elite troops, tier 6, tier 5 out to Yin Yang, and indeed, we have like 40 troops to start this battle. So it's only giving us our highest tiered units, hence we have almost no infantry. But we're going to make this work. And I like to have these battles because not only are they really interesting, but I can help some of you fellas that are vassal or mercenary in gigantic, difficult battles like this and show you what an experienced player does on the tactical side of things. What are we going to do? We're going to be cautious. Right now, I'm going to throw these 3 infantry and cavalry just in there. Fuck it, right? They might as well help. They're going to get killed, but we don't want them just standing there watching our side get butchered. This battle could be close. We might need every single body slamming in here. In fact, we need our cavalry in here so they don't mow us down with their cavalry. Remember, they had 300 elite cataphract, and it's going to be a long day if I do 26 shots per arrow. I mean, they're heavily armored. These lords we're fighting are perked out to yin-yang, so they're going to fight well, block well, have lots of hit points. And I really do feel like like the worst character on the field right now. Like, I feel weak. I feel vulnerable, even with our new armor here. But we're going to try to make sense of this battle here and see if we can't pull off some tactics. The good thing is eventually we'll have our full, 230 troops, right? 240 troops. So we're going to be able to make an impact. The question is whether or not it'll be, in a loss, getting routed at the end here, or whether or not we can help turn this battle in our favor. I'm already hurting here. I'd probably be dropped already if I didn't have that upgraded armor. Thank God we did that. Very, very precipitous timing there. And we're going to use this water here. I do have some horse archers. We will get other archers. We can flank using this water. That'll give these guys a little bit of protection, because the center here is just death, right? I can wade in here a little bit, but nothing's going to survive in here. It's just an incredible, absolute bedlam of elite troops, right? All of their units are tier 5 and 6. Every archer is a Palatine guard and whatnot. In fact, I really do feel like I'm out of my league in this battle. I'm swinging this sword that's way too short. Eventually, I think we will invest in a glaive. We need some kind of a longer weapon. Since he's going to be sort of a fanboy of Khazate culture here, allying with the Khazate. In fact, at some point or other, we're hoping to marry a nice Khazate noble daughter, right? A nice, good-looking Khazate woman here. Ryland is going to embrace the Khazate culture. You can tell there's a little parable here, a little paradox here, rather, between his father, the Vlandian lord, and Ryland, who's gone off in a different direction. Now, his father despised ranged units, right? Ryland, get the fuck out of my way. I hate it when units get in my way. Ryland's got a little bit of a bad temper. Of course, he's Baron York's son, but he's not opposed to using some ranged weapons. Baron York likes his cavalry. Ryland likes his horse archers. Are they going to battle in this campaign? That might be the last time I ask you fellows, right? You guys might be asking yourself that. We shall see, right? We shall see if the Baron and his son do battle. I will let you guys speculate. All right, so the enemy has an unbelievably elite force, and I'm getting stuck up here in the horse archers, and I just feel vulnerable using my little pathetic bow. I got to get a noble longbow. We need to buy one and just bite the bullet. What are they, 60, 70,000? Something like that. I don't feel like I'm doing enough damage with the bow. It's obviously safer, but right now I just feel like I'm a more effective killing machine with two-handed. Maybe if we get down to 30% health, we'll switch. Right now I got 3/4 here. I don't know how long that'll last. Every fucking unit here is elite, and Jesus, I shouldn't have said it. We're already down to a third. We do have the RTS mode, of course, going. It's been a long time since I mentioned that, so we will be able to use other characters here, but there's also a chance Ryland dies, right? We have 50. I went and verified. God damn it, we lost a horse already. I went and verified. We have 50x the normal. I need your horse there, bud. Get off. No, get off. I'm fucking nervous here. My palms are sweating. These battles are highly stressful for me, but it's in a good thing. Okay, we got reinforcements here. Let's start spreading out these archers. It's good stress, right? This is fucking fantastic. Hopefully there's a level of stress for you guys, right? Because it's going to be more entertaining. There's this Titanic battle with all elite units, and I'm down to a third health here. We're scrambling just to separate some units here. I got to do this quick so we don't get speared. Let's get the fourth and speak of the devil. He hit my horse instead. Fuck you. Let's get the 4th and 5th set up here. The horse archers in the 4th, the 5th, and 6th. They're in archers. We'll probably spray out along the river's edge here. We do have some infantry coming in. They should be good infantry, right? We had legionary. We even had some wildlings, right? I'm eager to have a battle where we can preset our units, because we'll have a skirmisher division, at least until they're killed. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's try to make an impact here. The battle is very spread out. Jesus Christ, how many mounts am I going to lose? Shades of that Khazate battle again. Now we just got to not get speared in the head. I apologize if this makes people dizzy, but I got no health, and there's fucking people trying to kill me. Fuckers. I've called a cab division to me because I need another taxi here. It looks like they finally arrived. Off your horses, bitches. No. God damn it, I'm fucking... Sometimes you gotta adjust kind of how you're sitting. Shit! I've been almost killed like 3 times already. I'm starting to get emotional. This shit is fucking suspenseful, but it's beautiful suspense. Alright, let's get it. 1st Division moved up with cavalry support. Archers on that ridge. We gotta start helping our ally here. If we just sit back, the ally will be immolated. That's what all the death spam is. So we've got to start taking a bit of a leadership role here. Let's get these archers set up high on this ridge. That way we can kite if we need to. That ridge is protected a little bit by that rock. Let's give them a cav division here. How many horses am I going to lose? The enemy's just coming at me. Fuckers. Now, I haven't mentioned it, or maybe I did mention it earlier. I think I did mention it. The reinforcement mod is off, and I'm going to leave that off here probably for another episode or two. This fucking guy, he had an axe, and now he's got a sword and a shield chasing after me. There you go. Lose your horse. Now you know what it feels like, bitches. And the reason we're doing that, of course, is when you have 200 units and you have the reinforcement mod on, the same shit that Baron York was facing, you could all of a sudden be facing 2,000. An instant capture, there wouldn't be any balance to it at all. So we will turn it back on, but not until Ryland is leading armies, right? Or maybe his brother if he gets killed. That's a very real threat here with this Death for All mod. All right, let's get forces moved up to this ridge. They can shoot the guys coming down the river. We're going to hold the edge of this riverbed here. I do have a good infantry line. We've got some shock troops coming in. The death spam has turned good, right? We're immolating that infantry that's attacking us there. Wipe them out, boys. Our archers are shooting. We've got... Why aren't you shooting? Get up here. Shoot. For some reason, they were turned off for fire. The good news is that at least they'll have ammo. God, the death spam just turned bad. Get up here, boys. There's a huge melee fracas to the left there. I gotta do a little bit of cutting down, guys, here. God, my sword is too short, right? Some people have this problem, right? You don't. It's a problem if your sword is too short. Then you just gotta learn how to use it well, fellas. All right, let's back horsers off on this side here. We may have to kite. It depends on what happens to our infantry there. God, I thought that was ours or theirs. You know what I mean. I'm struggling to narrate here. I'm fucking... My hands are sweating abnormally much in this battle. I don't know why I'm so stressed. It is tight, though. Maybe that's why, right? It's another fucking tight battle. People are trying to kill me. Fuckers. Long enough for your face. We might have to charge with horse archers. This is what they're for, though. Those cons guards, right? And whatever not. The guys with the glaive, they're more than capable. I'm going to lead the infantry here. All of these archers can push up. We can have the horse archers push in towards their archers here. And I think we just hold this line. They've got infantry scrumming it out. I've got a quarter of my health here. You just, you know, what's the quote? I don't know the Latin for it, but seize the day, right? What is it? Carpe diem or some shit like that. In we go. Let's carpe some fucking diem here. It's carnage. There's dust flying everywhere. We've got camels running around. I guess we've got a mercenary clan on camel here. What is that? The Gilman, right? It's nice to see these giant camels helping us out. Yeah, you fucking... That camel trucked that guy right in front of me. Charge, bitches! More in here. God, every unit is elite, too. I gotta be very careful. In fact, I might even be better off just sending this cavalry in. Let's be a leader instead of a fucking warrior. Get in there, horse archers. Our archers are still shooting. Maybe that accidental hold fire is gonna pay off for us here. I got guys chasing after me. There's already a fucking bounty on Ryland here. And I think we got this. Their archers are trying to reform. Die. Always careful of Sergeant Crossbow. Look at that. They just almost as if to prove what I was saying. Those guys are fucking deadly. Eat shit, Sergeant Crossbow. I think we got this shit. I don't see... we got this shit. Oh, man. Oh, man. What a fucking battle. And this is a great game, man. I know guys belabor all the things that are wrong with Bannerlord. That is fine, right? This is an incredible game, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says, right? That was another exhilarating battle. It's such a wild experience to have all this different units to control. You're fighting for your life on the battlefield. Dudes are slumped over in the swamp. The graphics are outstanding. I'm sure there are games with better graphics, but there's no game out there that has everything that Bannerlord has. It's just not even close. The feeling that you're in like a vicious, violent battle to the death with stress and strain and guys yelling and screaming and joy after victory with beautiful fucking sunsets. Maybe it's the sunset. That's why I'm so excited. And of course, a win is a win, right? This is another hugely important battle in this campaign. And nobody died, right? Ryland and his brother both survived. Now, our companion, I forgot to mention, I think I sent him on some quest, so our dipshit with the wolf head is no longer with us. Come with us, you stupid-ass looking Northern Empire fucks. You never should have declared war on Manchug Khan. Manchug Khan, what we'll call him? We'll call him our suzerain, right? We got some prisoners to recruit here, and we're delicate right now. We're in a sort of delicate position, but we can join this siege force, or at least hide behind it, right? They should have like a couple hundred forces that survived, and I tell you, man, that armor saved us there, right? If I didn't put that on 5 minutes before that battle, we lose. Now, what do we got going on here? There's all kinds of army threats here. The Northern Empire over there, it looks like they don't know what to do. Here, we'll help you. I'll show you what to do. You come with us. That's what you do. Archon Disporion, fucking dipshit name. Parents must have hated you with that kind of name. Come with us with your terrible helmet. You can join the line of nobles captured here by our mercenary clan. Now, hardly a mercenary army, right? We're going to go help everybody we can around here. We're playing the hero right now, right? This is often the case when you have good tactics, a good army, and that's the point of Bannerlord, right? They definitely give you the opportunity. Let's help this guy here. I don't know if we can make it there, but we're going to try. They give you the opportunity, right, to play the visceral hero in your own saga, and it's fucking great, man. I mean, that battle was tremendous. They lose, right, if we don't engage. This guy, his face is thoroughly pink. I gotta say, it's striking with his blue eyes, but come with us, Emperor Suvis. We should just behead him right here. Just start our career as the Khazate, as a bloodthirsty lord. No, instead, we will tell this gal here, you owe me one, right? We just saved the damsel in distress. What a perfect series of events this has been, right? We get a bunch of prisoners. I mean, what's next, right? I guess we save the whole Khazate kingdom. Ryland conquers. Baron York is killed by Ryland, right? That's where we're heading here with this side story. Of course, who knows what's going to happen, right? You guys don't know. Maybe I know, and maybe I don't, right? There are some elements that are out of my control. Ryland could be killed, right? That's definitely a possibility. His brothers could be killed. Now, if you remember, just a little bit of lore here, Baron York ostensibly, supposedly, had 7 children, and worried about his power, worried about his younger children coming of age, being young and virile, Baron York exiled all his children, right? So these guys are out in the wild here. They're looking to find their own way. And look what we have here. We have the cavalry arriving quite literally. In fact, there's the Khan right there. We need to go tell him of our good deeds, right? See if he's got a hot daughter for us to marry, right? Marry the daughter of the Khan here. And welcome back, right? These guys are a sight for sore eyes. We will say that they were sent on a mission, right? We will have a cutscene to explain this, but we've just added our companions that were formerly with Baron York, right? Especially this gal. She's a sight for sore eyes for sure. I'd marry her if it was legal. Look at this guy's face. Man, there's so many different cool aspects of Bannerlord. This guy's just got some gnarly war paint. For whatever reason, we can't see him. But let's see if Manchug, right, is eager to marry off. I mean, we just saved the day. All we got to do is just have our scribe or whatever, you know. So we'll say there's some prisoners, some Northern Empire prisoners that are going to tell Manchug all about how this vagabond, Ryland, who's in this mercenary service, was the hero of the day at the Battle of the Salt River or whatever. We'll make up some name for that shit. And now is very interested in case you have some, you know, attractive, fertile Khazate women, right, that would marry Mr. Ryland. Let's see here. I'd like to propose an alliance with marriage. We just want to get laid. Now you see Cole there. We will talk about the other brothers. Of course, I can't hide the fact that he has other brothers in the game. Sure, we will marry this Khazate princess, Billik. She's got a terrible name. Maybe we'll change her name. He doesn't want much for her. In fact, let's be generous here, right? We're schmoozing the Khan here. We're gonna simp a little bit here because Ryland aspires to be, you know, a Khazate noble, right? He aspires to be in the favor of Manchug Khan, right? I don't know if that was his daughter or not, but now we're married into the family, and away we go, right, fellas? What a perfect sequence of events. So you can't script that shit, right? Some of this shit is scripted, I promise you, right? Some of the stuff you shall see. You've already probably seen a few things that have happened. This is obviously scripted, right? You can't do this with vanilla. Just separate family members and they're off on their own and doing their own separate thing. However, There are also going to be lots of events in this campaign that I, as the curator of this campaign, as the narrator, as the controller of the story, will interweave in what I hope is a really dynamic, interesting way, right? There's this wild land of Calradia, and I'm trying to make it alive for you fellas, right? So that it feels real, just like any good movie. You don't want to think about it. That's actors, right? Hopefully you guys are conned into the script here. All right, so we're going to wrap this episode up. Of course, you want to subscribe if you want to see more. Hit notifications, hit that like button, and I will see you, friends, next time.